Hello, viewers across South Asia, the Middle East and beyond. Welcome to Redline Global's launch program. This is being broadcast simultaneously from Pakistan and Lebanon in collaboration with South Era Network. We are covering the world's most important developments, which are directly impacting the lives of billions of people across the world. Conflict and wars in the last 12 months have already killed more than 72,000 people in Gaza. Around 3,000 have been killed in Lebanon, more than 4,000 in Iran. These conflicts have displaced in Gaza alone 1.6 million people, Lebanon combined. At least 1,400 people in Pakistan alone have been killed in terrorism-related incidents in the last 9 months. In terms of dollars cost, the conflict has already touched a sky-high figure, nearly $1 trillion. I'm reminding for you that there should be more costs coming your way. We need to understand how the new world disorder is working or not working, what lies ahead based on what we're facing today. From the May war between India and Pakistan and the Kashmir conflict to Afghanistan's troubled land to the quagmire of the Gulf, we will cover all, offering you insights of some of the world's most well-informed experts and analysts. We will start with the India-Pakistan war last May and assess its impact. Through my studio, I'm connected with Washington and in Islamabad. We have two guest panelists whose introduction I will give to you. Laurie Watkins, who's the ex-US President Advisor, Truman Project author, public policy expert. She has served as a presidential appointee at the US Department of Defense during the administration of Barack Obama. Welcome, Laurie. We also have Asif Ali Durrani, former diplomat, former special representative on Afghanistan, former Pakistan's ambassador to the UAE and Iran. We also hope to get connected with, in Romania, Dr. Flavius Gaba-Maria, President, Middle East Political and Economic Institute, Bucharest, Romania. As I told you that we are in collaboration with our friends in Lebanon. Let me toss the transmission to our Lebanon correspondent and our colleague and our host, Sahil, who has his own panel of experts offering great insights. So Sahil, before I start my debate here, over to you.
Thank you so much, Talat. Salam alaikum, Pakistan. Namaste, India, Hindustan. And namaskar, Bangladesh. And good evening from here in Beirut to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. My name is Sahil Murli Meghani, and this is South Era Network. The dust from last year's events has settled. But what it has revealed is a landscape that few predicted. And frankly, nobody fully understands yet. Tonight, with Samaa Global, with Talat there in Lahore and I here in Beirut for Sen, we look at how these events reshape not just the subcontinent, but the wider region. And we ask the harder question, where does the world go from here? Like everything in life, to understand the disorder, you have to start with the spark. Last year, India and Pakistan fought a 4-day military conflict. I remember seeing those fighter jets in real time flying all across when I was reporting on the conflict from the ground, from Punjab, from Jammu and Kashmir. For 4 straight days, no one slept. I remember hiding in a makeshift bunker in Kashmir's Srinagar along with locals and spending a night there with no food, no water, no electricity. Residents of both Pakistan as well as residents of India spent those 4 nights exactly like how the residents of Gulf nations spent their entire March and April during the ongoing crisis between the US and Iran, in fear, in anticipation, and in hope that it would end soon. 4 days that shook the region, rattled global capitals, and ended with both nations claiming they had won. 2 countries, 1 conflict, 2 very different stories. Regional tensions between India and Pakistan escalated sharply following the April 2022 Pahalgam attack. By May 6, Pakistan's military had been placed on high alert. Around midnight on May 7, India launched missile strikes targeting areas in Punjab and Kashmir. In response, Pakistan initiated Operation Bunyan Marsoos in the early hours of May 10. Later that day, both countries announced a ceasefire, bringing the military escalation to a halt. But this was not the first time these 2 nations have gone to war. my colleague Leticia Castro traces a history that goes back to the very moment both of these countries were born. Take a look.
India and Pakistan have spent decades stuck in a cycle of war, ceasefires, border clashes, and nuclear standoffs. But this story didn't start with modern airstrikes. It started with a map. And the way two borders were drawn changed everything in 1947 and ignited a rivalry that still shapes South Asia today. In 1947, Britain withdrew from the Indian subcontinent and divided it into two sovereign states, Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan. But the partition was chaotic. Millions of people were suddenly on the wrong side of the new borders. As Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs fled in both directions, communal violence erupted and claimed up to 1 million lives. At the heart of the chaos was Kashmir. Kashmir was a Muslim-majority princely state ruled by a Hindu Maharaja. While Pakistan expected it to join them, the Maharaja hesitated. When armed tribal fighters from Pakistan entered the region, the Maharaja sought military help from India, signing the instrument of accession to join the Indian Union. That triggered the First Indo-Pakistan War. After 14 months of fighting, the United Nations brokered a ceasefire in 1949, leaving Kashmir split by a ceasefire line. It remains one of the most militarized borders on Earth. By 1965, both sides thought they could shift the balance, featuring the largest tank battle since World War II. But after weeks of fighting, neither side won decisively. Both sides accepted a UN-mandated ceasefire, eventually signing the Tashkent Declaration to restore the status quo. The Third War wasn't fought over Kashmir, but over East Pakistan, the region that we know today as Bangladesh. After a political crisis and a brutal military crackdown, millions of refugees fled into India. India backed the Bangladeshi independence movement, and war broke out in December of 1971. In 1999, just 1 year after both countries declared themselves as nuclear powers, fighting erupted again in Kargil. But the message was clear. This rivalry had entered a new, more dangerous era. But Kargil also marked something else. The era of full-scale wars was fading, but the conflict itself wasn't going anywhere. Instead, the tensions evolved. After Kargil, India and Pakistan entered a more dangerous kind of standoff, one defined by militant attacks, border skirmishes, airstrikes, and constant escalation risks. The era of full-scale conventional war has since evolved into a gray zone of high-stakes standoffs. In 2016, following an attack on an Indian base in Uri that killed 90 soldiers, India announced surgical strikes across the line of control. In 2019, after a suicide bombing in Pulwama killed 40 Indian personnel, India launched airstrikes in Balakot, deep inside Pakistan. Pakistan retaliated with its own air operations, resulting in a dogfight and the capture and subsequent release of an Indian pilot. And the tensions flared again in 2025 after a deadly attack in Pahalgam. India launched Operation Sindoor. Pakistan responded with heavy retaliatory fire across the border, proving that even small-scale incidents can bring the region to the brink of catastrophe. With India and Pakistan, their history isn't really history. The wars of 1947, 1965, 1971, and 1999 still echo through every new crisis. Kashmir remains divided, the border remains heavily armed, and every new attack risks reopening decades of trauma. And that's what makes this conflict so complicated. It's not just about land, it's about identity, religion, generational trauma, politics, and a partition that never fully healed. 79 years later, the border remains a fault line, and the story remains unfinished.
Excellent report there, Leticia. Thank you so much for that.